Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. It's Reana coming at you and we're gonna get real.
Okay, Ree, what are we gonna get real about today?
Oh my gosh, we're going to get real with you guys about how we eat and how we track what we eat.
What? Ree, you start.
Let's start with Ree. I attempted to track what I was eating probably for about 2 days.
When?
I think back in high school. So maybe, 2012-ish. It was the fad, everybody was doing it. I made it about a couple days. I specifically remember, I don't know why, I'm pretty sure it was like things that I ate were like goldfish and like some Hershey Kisses that I specifically did not track. And I was only tracking like the good things that I ate, or maybe it was because I had to do it for maybe like one of the lifetime challenges. I think we had to do it for the lifetime like 90-day program. And I completely failed because I am a liar and a faker. Well, okay, I was a liar and a faker in my high school life to myself. And I lied about what I was eating to myself.
I love this. I have like so much satisfaction from this.
But I have grown.
I will give you that.
Thank you. Anywho, I would only track and log in the app or on my whatever notebook the good things that I ate, and it wasn't even like that good. It was just like, and then obviously then it looked like I wasn't eating enough. And it just never worked out really well for me because it didn't help me. Like, that wasn't my spark as far as like, okay, like if I follow this and if I track this, then I'll get
Someone
results.
was watching Soul, weren't they? That wasn't my spark.
I tracked on my notebook by hand, and I also used an iPhone app. Both were the same equal failure. But that was only lying and faking to ourselves.
Right, it's only gonna hurt you. Just like doing these motions under the camera.
But we just went over mirroring and lighting.
But
and
then I need you to hunch forward.
I ain't hunched.
So my history with tracking food goes back a long way, just through to high school. When I kind of started wanting to lose weight and eat healthier, and not long after is when I first found the Whole30. But any case, I found the apps I was using, like Lose It initially, and then I switched over to MyFitnessPal, and that was like, obviously is a great tool, and it was great for me. I think, I don't know, it's tough because you can open the app and like you don't really know what your starting baseline is, so like you're just kind of like going based off of like how many calories you're eating. I don't know, like if you don't have any like goals and like you don't work with someone to set your like initial goals, especially back then, like think about like back in 2012, like there was like no resources, like Instagram wasn't like, there wasn't like
on the internet, social media wise.
Yeah, it just wasn't as like
the thing.
It wasn't the thing, it wasn't big, it wasn't like, oh, what's your BMR, what's your this, how many calories, how many macros, it was just like calories.
Was like,
so for me, that kind of came at a point, like tracking all of that came at a point when I was just like not in a good place with like having a good balance. So if I was tracking my calories, like, I don't know, like I would eat, like that's when I was eating like almonds and like turkey and like nothing else. Yeah. So, yeah, so I don't know if it's just that like association with like that time in my life that is like why I like don't do it now, or why I'm not like as fond of it now, is maybe whatever. But yeah, because like when I was tracking my calories, like I was so strict on it. Like I was like, I can't go off.
You were only looking at calories?
For the most part. I mean, I was trying to hit protein as well. I would always go over on fats because I would eat so many nuts. Oh yeah, so I was so like set on hitting my numbers and all that. So like if I were to go and like have something that was like big or indulgent or like whatever, like say I had like a I don't know, like a Big Mac or whatever, and it was like 800 calories, then it was like truly like can't eat anything the rest of the day, like. Whereas opposed to now, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but it's like if you have one meal, like you don't like we don't like adjust. It's like if you eat one bad meal, it's not like you adjust for the next week to like make up for the calories or not make up for, but I guess the opposite of that. Yeah.
So success or failure on previous historical food tracking.
In a lot of words, failure.
Yeah, because like I would just like, I never even got to the point of like tracking all the metrics because I never made it that far. Like I like barely
put it
got
in, close your
past.
eyes.
Yeah, like I barely got past like writing down what I ate that day.
Yeah, it wasn't great for me just in the mentality of like the strictness and just I don't know.
Like it
I mean, like
us...
it worked. Like that's the problem is that like it worked. But it's like, but that's not like what I mean. It's like
it worked for weight loss.
Well, for weight loss, but like what kind of weight was I losing?
Almonds.
It's like, yeah, you see like the number on the scale is going down. Like, yeah, I'm losing weight. That's great. But like I wasn't tracking. Like I didn't know my body fat. I didn't know my muscle mass. Like who knows how much muscle I was losing, if I was actually losing any fat. Like that's the thing is that like, and I also like, I'm sure that I wasn't eating enough too, because that was the point where like we were playing basketball at that time, like not accounting for any of that activity. I didn't have the right starting point. So then it's like, if you're only eating 1,200 calories and then you have to continue to be in a deficit, you're gonna get to the point where you're like, you're not even eating enough to like sustain your like daily like lifetime. Like if I sit on the couch all day and literally do nothing, I still need to eat like
more than
1,700 calories just to like maintain my body function. And so that's something that like back in that day wasn't really idea. It wasn't really, you know what I mean? So it's like you give a 14-year-old a Fitness Pal app and the default is 1,200 calories. Like, what do you know? But that's the thing. And then it was kind of like, it was like, like how little, because then it's like, if you clicked like that you finished tracking your food for the day and it's like, oh, congratulations, you were under your calorie goal for the day. Then it was like, oh, if you continue this, you will be at X weight, or you will lose 27 pounds in the next 6 weeks. And so it was like almost motivation to like eat less and to not hit your calorie goal, because it was like, oh, yeah.
As you can see from the examples of Dumb and Dumber, this
it can be
was not good for our physical health, but even more importantly, our mental health and our relationship with food and exercise.
Especially because we didn't have the greatest relationship with food, like coming into that stage.
Growing up, yeah.
Yes. So then it's like you put that in there and then it's like, boom.
So that's why like our journey before now has just been like
a roller coaster.
Useless?
Not useless. Not useless. We always
learning opportunities.
Always learn something.
Carrie Schaefer. Leop.
Learning opportunity. I love you, Carrie. We know you're watching this. So with those prior experiences, as we moved into our nutrition journey in 2020, the Whole30 obviously is what we started with at the beginning of the year. Oh my gosh, it was like just over a year ago. We started with so we started with the Whole30, and a big rule on the Whole30 is that you do not track what you eat. And so that was great. We were like, okay, cool, no problem. And so we carried that with us through doing the Whole30, in between rounds of the Whole30, and then into kind of just like how we live now.
We don't track calories, we don't track macronutrients, protein, carbs, fats. We don't track anything. It's all opinion related. Please consult your doctor or your nutritionist before starting food tracking, the Whole30, etc., etc.
Correct. And these are just our personal opinions, not medical advice.
Thank you.
Guys,
we need your opinions on like a couch session, like talking session with Reana and Al, like separate from our YouTube videos related to health and fitness. What do you guys
like couch
think?
Talks? Like we can just talk about our opinion.
Or we could just go live.
We should just go live.
People can like tune in.
I don't know if anyone would ask us any
We
questions.
just have arguments sometimes, but then they end up being collaborative sessions.
Yeah. Okay, anyway. So I think that tracking food, and I think it actually did help me in a way, not so much like mentally with my relationship with food, but in just helping me understand food better. So I think it definitely has a good place.
Like what foods have what?
Correct. So it's like,
Well, yeah, because I don't know.
like
that.
what's
almonds have 10 grams of fat.
Exactly. So it's like how much almonds are like how much grams of protein is in a piece of meat and how big a piece of meat, and it really helps
That's
you.
cool.
Yeah, so now it's like obviously so it helps, I mean, obviously just in like cooking and just in my own knowledge, and like that's why I feel like really confident about not needing to track, because I have prior knowledge of like serving sizes and portions and how much is in what. So
Yeah,
I kind of have an idea. Same, yeah, thank God I'm around. So I kind of have an idea. So I think that's a good place, a place where food tracking comes in handy. Not so much just for like, I need to eat 1,793 calories and here's how I need to do it. But I think in just tracking your food, writing down your food, but then understanding. So then when you are in your food freedom or whatever, and you're going through and like you're not eating enough or you're eating too much and you're putting on weight that you don't want to be, and you're like, why? Well, it's because you're eating 17 servings of almonds per day. Like maybe find a different snack. Like it's just, it really helped me in that sense, just with understanding food better.
All right, I'll give you that.
But like I said, like that is totally separate from using it as a means of weight loss in like tracking food.
Next up in this segment video, no, that's weird. Okay.
Segment video?
Next up, we want to kind of open up the conversation about our personal opinions and our recommendations based off of our personal experience.
Yeah. Okay, so here's what I think.
Boy.
Here's what I think.
Oh, yeah, tell him.
Here's what I think. I'm gonna tell him. Here's what I think. Okay, so I think here's the thing. Tracking your food, it's like with great power comes great responsibility. I think you have to use it in a way that will benefit you personally. I think if you are trying to make a long-term lifetime change, I think you'll be better off to just, like I said, like learn about portion sizes, food, how much is in what, and all of that stuff. I think that will be a really great benefit to you. And maybe like loosely tracking, just kind of figure out like where you are, and then you can kind of figure out, you know, if you're under eating or overeating, whatever, just to get you on like a good baseline. But I think in order to really help change your overall relationship with food and fitness, and to just really like change your habits in your life, I think that it is really important to learn how to do that without tracking your food and your calories. Because like, do you want to be tracking your food and your calories forever? Do you want to be having to do that for the rest of your life? Because that's the only place that like you feel like you're in control. Like that doesn't seem like, to me, like that's not something that I want to have to do or worry about. I want to just be able to know how much to eat, when to eat.
But for some people, that's like their guiding light too. So like it could be,
right.
That's the thing, is like for us both, it did not work mentally at all. And for other people, it really, really, really could be a positive change for them. It just depends on how you approach it. And we were not in the correct headspace in how we approached it, especially like being so young.
Yeah, that's tough because you don't really know. Right. So like if I were to give my advice to my 15-year-old self, it would just be to give the same advice that I give to everybody who reaches out or asks me, is just like, just change your habits. Like just start small, change your habits, start adding in good things before you take away the less good or the bad things that you do or the habits that you have, and just start to change your habits, because that's where the long-term success is going to come in. And so I think if tracking your calories is something that helps you and helps keep you on track and keeps you accountable, and I think it's great, but I think it also is important to, I never say important like that. I don't know why I said it like that. I think it's important to really understand and not have to rely on it as a crutch, and not have to let that be the only way that you feel in control. and to just have it as like as guides for you, but not as for the only way that you can like live your life. Is it super, super useful if you have super, super specific goals? Sure, that's a totally different ballgame, which we're not talking about. We're talking about overall lifetime, long-term health and wellness and changing your life, which is a bigger issue than just how many calories you put in your mouth and how many calories you put out. Because you can be eating 2,000 calories worth of Snickers bars, or even 2,000 calories worth of kale, or 2,000 calories worth of almonds, and you say like, oh, calories in, calories out. That is really not helping you out in the long term. And so I think understanding that and just improving your relationships with your food and your mentality and your whole overall well-being is what is going to help with that.
Exactly. And if you try it out and it doesn't work for you, or you try it out and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm more stressed than when I was started, this is giving me anxiety, you can stop. You don't have to like go for a week, or you don't have to join this 30-day program, and it's okay
if you stop.
Yeah. And it's okay if it works for you and you keep going. Like, it's okay, and then you can like rework and try something else, or try it again, and push through that to see if you can to see if it was something that you can get past.
Yeah.
I want a taco.
I'm hungry too.
I'm hungry.
We'll
wrap it up with this.
Okay, yes. A big thing that we've noticed, especially in moving to a plant-based diet, and especially something that you will learn a lot from if you read the book called Fiber Fueled, which is a great book and I highly recommend it, is that really the more nutrient dense your diet is, the less you need to be worried about how many calories you're eating, because your body naturally regulates itself. Your body naturally if you're eating like super nutritious, wide variety of plant-based foods, whole foods, not like very minimally processed, then you will eat as much as you want and you will get full, and you will not eat 3,000 calories. Like it's very hard. It's very hard to like overeat when you're eating a very unprocessed whole foods diet. Yeah. Even if you are eating meat, I think just like the less processed that you eat, the less that the more difficult it is to actually like overeat, and like your body knows when it's full, but when you're eating Snickers bars, it's like it works differently. And so yeah. So anyway, I highly recommend that book to learn more about that. But that's something that like the reason why we've been successful in losing so much weight with not tracking calories is because of the high quality, nutrient dense foods that we eat. We eat fruits, vegetables, grains, potatoes, and like now we've kind of moved into like, I would say like 80% unprocessed and like 20% like more processed, like with like tortillas and like other things to kind of help keep things interesting and to help us enjoy more. But yeah, so that was a big reason in why we've been successful in losing weight without having to track it. Because then if you're I'm gonna keep rambling, I'm sorry. Yeah, because if your calorie goal is 2,000 calories and you eat 1,000 calories worth of like tortillas,
you're fine.
Then you're not fine, because then you're like, oh my gosh, I only have 1,000 calories. Like you wasted 1,000 calories on tortillas, but it's like the tortillas aren't gonna fill you up, but you've eaten 1,000 calories.
Yeah, it's all a mental game and how you perceive the challenge, if you will, or just learning new knowledge about food tracking and food nutrients. Let us know if you guys track your food and if it's helpful and been successful for you. We would love to hear your story, because we're two failures.
We're not failures. Can you imagine? We know how to eat intuitively and like live our best life. Like that's a big win for me.
Winning!
That was something I never thought that was a thing. I always thought I would track my food for forever, and I was like, I'm gonna have to track my food for forever. Like, this is cool. I never thought that I would be able to like live without like either being on one extreme or the other, without being like completely like off the wire, like going to Taco Bell every day, or completely restricted.
Taco Bell is so good.
Well, yeah, I know, I love Taco Bell, but I'm saying like, you know, how we used to eat like Taco Bell
every day, every meal.
Like
right here on this couch.
Existing in the medium is something that I never thought that was like even a possible thing. I didn't think.
our, what's it called?
Self-actualization.
Wow, you made it there so early in your life. Wow.
Can't wait to edit this 30-minute video. Ah!
Woo!
Okay, well, we hope you enjoyed this video. We got cozy up on the couch, which is probably why the video was so long, because we were just so cozy here.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Let us know if you learned something or if we are just spewing some nonsense. Let us know that as well.
But hey, thank you so much. We hit 100 subscribers and we are so excited. Thank you everybody for subscribing to us. We love you so much. We appreciate you. And here's to the next 100.
And subscribe because we will be posting more about our journey in 2020 and our journey before growing up with health, fitness, exercise, and our whole lifestyle and habit changes. We'll be here for it.
Yep. Bye.